Well, let's just talk a little bit more then about the events ahead and about the memories of the Queen. And because when King Charles and the Queen Consort arrive in Northern Ireland, they're going to be meeting multi-faith religious leaders. And we can talk now to Archbishop Angaelos, who is the Coptic Orthodox Archbishop of London, who has met Queen Elizabeth and King Charles many times. What are your thoughts in this period of mourning after the death of Her Majesty?
Good morning, Ben. I, like everyone else, I think it is an incredibly sad time. Our late Queen wasn't just a figurehead. She was, as we've seen from the coverage, almost an extended member of everyone's family. We've seen people genuinely grieving. She has been a symbol of reconciliation, as we've heard, a symbol of collaboration, warmth. She strengthened and encouraged us through the pandemic, and she really was a guiding light through many of the dark times that we've experienced.
And people mourning her of all faiths, that is very important to stress, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think she did make herself very available to everyone. Of course, from my Christian perspective, her Christian faith was incredibly important to her and was the foundation of her life. But that Christian faith is what made her reach out to everybody else, graciously and generously, and with incredible power and reassurance.
We're just seeing you meeting her there, actually. What was she like when you talked to her? We've heard so many people's accounts of what she was like, but what are your recollections? What are your memories?
Queen Elizabeth was delightful. She was the quintessential combination of royal propriety, but then a very simple conversational presence. You felt that you were at the same time in the presence of royalty, but also in the presence of someone who had warmth. As I've heard so many times this week, it wasn't just my experience, but she does give complete attention to whoever she is dealing with and speaking to. And she is incredibly intelligent and was very well briefed. And so she would make conversation that was relevant to the person and to that person's interests.
And faith was important to her. It was central to her life and to her sense of duty.
Absolutely, and she didn't shy away from it. I think we do live in a world where people either become very strong about projecting their faith or shy away from it. But in the late Queen, I think we see that she was confident enough to proclaim her faith, but did not make it exclusive, so it shut other people out. It actually opened doors, and it made people feel more welcome.
And in a multi-faith, multicultural country, of course, that is so important, a country which changed so much during the long years of her reign.
Well, a multicultural country and a multicultural Commonwealth. I mean, her view was way beyond our borders here of our four nations. It went into the Commonwealth and around the world. She was globally recognized and globally respected for that very point, where I've heard very few criticisms or condemnations of her over her life. And the one thing everyone says is that she was incredibly engaging and welcoming.
And we're seeing this extraordinary outpouring of grief, which perhaps is not a surprise, but in some ways is this process of grief therapeutic, I suppose, the fact that it is going on for many days and so many people are getting the chance actually to go to pay their respects, to go to see her coffin and really want to go and see her coffin and want to pay their respects.
You know, if we think about what we're doing as a nation at the moment, it's quite complex. Many people have made fun of the king is dead, long live the king scenario as something that is quite superficial. But I think we've seen that as quite therapeutic, because we are still mourning the Queen, but we are affirming and celebrating the king, showing a consistency and continuity that is also encouraging to people. And I wasn't quite sure how that would look. I was, very nervous the first day. But in actual fact, there is no taking away from the grief while we are celebrating and affirming a new king. And I think that's really important. And as I was saying earlier, she is a manifestation of an extended family, and so we're all grieving in our own ways.
And important, in a sense, that what you were just talking about there, that sense of continuity, but also the longevity of her reign. I mean, what did that mean for this country and, as you were mentioning, the Commonwealth, do you think? Just the 70 years, the huge span of her reign.
It wasn't just any 70 years. It was 70 years that had world wars, regional wars, complex geopolitics, global pandemic, financial crises, and she has managed to navigate through all that and serve her people through all that as well. And I think that sense of assurance and longevity that you're speaking about gives a sense of stability, that there is an end to this. I mean, her affirmation that we will meet again, although it's a very simple term, gave us all hope. And we believed her. And that was a wonderful thing.
So good to talk to you, Archbishop. Thank you very much. Archbishop Angelos there, Coptic Orthodox Archbishop of London, who, as we were reflecting there, had met the Queen, and also King Charles many times. Thank you for your reflections and your memories and your thoughts.